pack lineup.
Give it flight. Now he's round and now he's disappearing again. It's all over, folks. The fat lady can start singing. Oh, beautiful. That's how much it means to win their first game for the Zouks.
Now, that's a familiar voice there, Danny. Why don't you talk us through this?
Well, look, and interesting that we're now about Misbah from the subcontinent, Pakistani, another great player. And we've just finished on Ricky Ponting. Here's another guy that really pushed to the earth's degree of the amount of time he stayed within the game. And as Moods was saying, again, fire in the belly. I think he was what, 45 when he was finishing playing international cricket? I mean, massive. And when you look at that clip, playing in Guyana, again on surface that we know tend to favour the spinners, a bit slow, grip a bit, being brought up in the subcontinent, of course, Misbah, playing in the UAE. I was very fortunate, Nikhil, to be on air when he equalled the great Viv Richards and then went past it. He had that fastest 100 equal with Viv. And of course, then the great Brendan McCullum, beat Viv's record in Test cricket. So I'm not surprised, we've got one of these clips here with Misbah going for it and smashing it like that and winning the game for his team. It's brilliant.
Right. Why don't we have that clip again? I would love to look at the celebrations.
Now he's round and now he's disappearing again. It's all over, folks. The fat lady can start.
You're not a big boundary there.
Oh, beautiful.
Right. But he's
hit that pretty flat as well.
Right.
It was clearly a big moment for the Zouks in that contest. They've had their troubles, the Zouks, over the years. Finding form in the Caribbean Premier League. So that was obviously a defining moment. And the other thing to recognise is that in franchise cricket, like the Caribbean Premier League, the overseas players have that added responsibility and pressure. And there's no doubt that going into matches, and this particular match, there would have been that pressure. And that's just the relief of getting over the line and getting your side over the line, that celebration of punching the air and getting on that one knee. Clearly was an important moment for the Zouks, an important moment for Misbah, an overseas player that's come in to deliver. And there's nothing better than, from a playing perspective, is delivering on the day and showing your value as an overseas player, because there is that added pressure.
Right. I think in terms of players who have been termed as classical, and as Danny was just mentioning that he at one point equaled the record for the fastest century. As players who have been termed as classical, for someone who switches gears, Danny, what do you think about Misbah on that mold? Because when we hear about it in the subcontinent, we always see that Misbah is one classical test player. What about players who switch? Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of just seeing that clip, because I think in a way we haven't got time clearly to show more of what Misbah could do, because he was also renowned as a bit of a blocker. He was a bit slower and he suited Test match cricket. And let's be fair and reasonable, that was his forte. He loved Test cricket. It was more about the red ball more so than the white ball. But to be fair to Misbah, he did then learn to play better 50-over cricket, and then, of course, T20. So, again, like Ponting, these great players get the best out of themselves and can then string it out further. And I think that's the beauty of now, as we've seen, as Moods was mentioning, franchise cricket. It allows the good players, the very good players, the great players, to then have something else to sort of finish off, if you like, a nice little swan song of their careers, where I think fans get to really enjoy what they can do away from the other formats.
Right. Thanks for that. And